Okay, so this is how we're going to create a force time graph using a velocity time graph. So what we want to do is we want to find the acceleration of this object. This object weighs 2 kilograms. So to find the acceleration, we're going to use the acceleration formula right here, which is the final velocity minus the initial velocity over the final time minus the initial time. So to start out, for just this part of the graph, our final velocity in time is going to be 20 and 2. And since our initial velocity in time is 0, we're just gonna not do anything here because it's 0, and that equals to 20 over 2, which is equal to 10 over 1, just 10 meters per second squared. Okay, now that we have the acceleration, we're going to plug it into the F equals ma formula. So we know that the object is 2 kilograms and the acceleration is 10 meters per second, so we're going to get 20 newtons of force from that. Okay, now that we know that the force is 20 newtons, we're going to come down to this force time graph, and we're just going to draw a line on 20 until where it would stop on the actual velocity time graph, so right here. Now if we look at this part of the graph right here on the velocity time graph, the object is moving at a constant speed. So since it's moving at a constant speed, we can say that there's no acceleration in the object. So we'll just draw another line down here. Now we're going to take a look at this part right here. For the formula, we're going to plug in 50 as the final velocity minus the 20 velocity that was initial, and then have 5 minus 4. And that is equal to 30 over 1. So that's 30 meters per second squared. And we're going to plug that into the formula to get 60 newtons. So now that we know that this is 60 newtons for this 1 second here between 4 and 5, we're going to draw a line at 60 newtons. And then for these 3 seconds, the object is moving at a constant speed, so we can just draw it at 0. Now this part is tricky because the object is actually slowing down here, but remember we can't have a negative force. So the force in newtons is always going to be a positive number. So if we do the calculations for this, it's going to be 20 minus 50 over 10 minus 8. So that equals negative 30 over 2. And we can simplify that to negative 15 over 1. So at this point, it's going to be moving at negative 15 meters per second squared. And then we can just plug that into the formula. So that is 2 times 15. Because remember, we can't have a negative force. That's just going to be 30 newtons. And then for the last part, we're just going to draw a line at the 30 newtons.